Welcome to Small Town Times. I have Dave Mendicino as a guest. We're going to talk about a number of different issues, a lot to do with what is taking place to assist those that have addictions and lack housing. We're going to have a little bit of an update on Northern Pines, and we're going to navel gaze a little bit about the building the city's in the works of buying that's right beside the Gathering Place Soup Kitchen on Cassells. So Dave, thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, well, it's the Dave and Dave show, man.
Yeah. I'm liking it. It's good.
Now, you have done some homework and you have some thoughts. To start it off with where the Northern Pines is at now and what you're thinking about with this building.
So Northern Pines is a project that's been, I'm going to say 2 to 3 years in the making. It's been developed into a 60-bed facility, transitional supportive housing units. So right now, as of today, they've got 16 moderate-level support beds that are currently in use. They have 24 high-level support units that are going to be available later this year, and also 20 apartments that are going to be available later this year. Or early into next year now. These 60 beds are going to, anybody that's with mental health and addiction issues that has chosen to, get some help so they can transition back into a normal life sort of thing. This is a facility now that will be, once fully operational, will be able to provide these individuals with the support they need, and there's no time frame. If you need to be there 6 months, you can be there 6 months. You can transition from a high-level support to medium-level support to an apartment, right at the same facility. Sometime, I'm not sure when, but over the last year, the hospital has moved its case management services for mental health addictions into the facility. So it's kind of getting the wraparound services that were envisioned when we first started this project through the Nipissing District Housing Corp some 3 years ago now.
Well, that's good. Much needed progress, of course, and it addresses an issue that's impacting a lot of different agencies in town, and showing the kind of busting at the seams. And this is one step towards a solution. So that's good.
I think once it's fully operational, over the next number of months, there's going to be, again, 24 high-level support and 20 small apartment units that are going to be finished. I think once it's fully operational, I think we're going to see that it was a very good decision for the region, for the District of Nipissing, to move in this direction, to give the individuals with mental health and addictions the support they need once they choose to get the help that they need.
And so with this building that the city's looking at buying and is in the process of buying beside the Gathering Place, this is another consolidated area that may be made more efficient for that same purpose?
Yeah, so the city council, I think, did a really good thing in purchasing that building right beside the current Gathering Place, or it's in the process of purchasing the building. And there's no definite plans right now. There's been maybe some talk behind the scenes, but I think the city's thinking was we'll purchase it and it'll be something that we bring to the table, sort of thing. But the ultimate goal is to fill some gaps that are currently in the system.
Such as a warming center?
Well, like the warming center, like when I was sitting last term, when I was sitting on the DSAB board, we'd get updates about, we need a warming center and, where are we going to put it? There's a low barrier shelter over on, right now at Northern Pines. There was, the Gathering Place has got its location. But it does make sense to look at expanding the Gathering Place, if you will. You could easily renovate that into a warming center. And that warming center could become a low barrier shelter at night. So all of a sudden you've got all your clientele, if you will, all in one location. And this warming center has wraparound services where there's professional mental health and addiction workers that are there talking to you. You know, you're gaining their confidence, sort of thing. And as you do that, one by one, hopefully you can get them off the street and at Northern Pines where these services are available for you. And obviously the gathering place, the current gathering place, they do an amazing job. Dennis Chippa and his crew and the board. Obviously they would have to be on side with all this.
Well, maybe it'll lead to a more coordinated approach too. I remember talking to Dennis at the Blues Festival, and he has his frustrations in dealing with the whole situation because they're the ones that everybody goes to at the last minute, often to clean up the lack of planning ahead of time, and they're just the go-to in time of crisis, right? And he says, you know, like that's what they want to be doing, but they want to plan it better and so that it's not impacting them. I think there was cash flow problems for security that they ended up having to pay for and waiting for payment and stuff like that. So he needs, you know, I should have Dennis on to explain himself because I was at the Blues Festival and my memory's a little foggy on exactly what he was saying, but basically he said, you know, it can be done more coordinated. It doesn't have to impact us so hard when it's needed, and we shouldn't have to be waiting for money to pay for security and stuff like that. So,
and you know what, he's bang on. I mean, I've talked to him on occasion, and you know, over the last 4 years, the last term when I was on DSAB, and he's definitely frustrated, and you know, we all get frustrated in that system sometimes, right? The service providers, along with the gathering place, need to sit down and start what's the best use for this building. And obviously Dennis and his crew are going to have a lot of input on that. But this would be a planned, coordinated effort in my mind.
Well, good time for these discussions heading into the city's budget deliberations, right? It's going to start pretty soon. And they're looking at long-term financial planning, so they'll have to, you know, figure out what their role is in this sort of environment.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I think the city, strategically, I think they were bang on. Council made a great decision there in purchasing that building. Hopefully something comes of it, but the service providers are going to have to come to the table and along with the city and the gathering place and figure that out. You know, hopefully, you know, in a year or so, maybe we see something there that's filling the gap that is needed here in the city.
Right on. Well, devil in the details. We'll see how they do.
We'll see how they do. Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up as a short one. It's a good topic, and I wouldn't mind doing this more often where we just take one little topic and go after it. Maybe get another guest in to talk about it as well, who has a little bit more on the front line sort of perspective. So,
yeah,
cool.
Like Dennis.
Yeah, like Dennis.
Yeah.
Next time. Dennis Chippa.
Dennis Chippa.
Yeah. So, hey, man, are you available? I know you're not busy, right? Okay. Thanks, man.
My pleasure.